Tax season is in full swing, and I feel like I am knee deep in all things taxes. I feel like I'm living, breathing, eating, sleeping taxes. So why not do a series on taxes? Hi, my name is Adrina. I am the owner and accountant here at Accounting by Adrina. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about what you need in order to start your tax return. Now, this is the second video in a series of videos on taxes. So if you haven't seen my first video, I'm going to link everything below this video. So make sure you watch that video first, come back to this video, because we're going to use a lot of what we talked in that first video here in this second video. Now, before we even get started with this video, I am going to need a disclaimer. And here's the disclaimer. This video is meant for entertainment purposes only. This is not tax advice. Consider this general info I learned along my way. And please always consult a tax professional for your specific tax advice. All right, let's get started. So on my Instagram page, I actually polled you guys to figure out what kind of person we're going to use as an example for this video. So here is Mrs. needs to file her taxes. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to walk through specific scenarios for her. And this could potentially apply to you, and it could not potentially apply to you. Use this as general advice in getting started with your tax return. All right. Mrs. needs to file her taxes. She is married. She has one kid. She has a traditional 9-to-5 job. She has a side hustle, and she has a mortgage, and she also has student loan payments. So if any of that sounds like you, I'm going to walk through all of the forms that you need in order to start getting ready to file your tax return. So Mrs. needs to file her taxes will be filing as married, filing jointly with her husband. So she's going to need all of the specific information that she would for herself, but also for her husband and for her child. Now, before we even get started, you want to make sure that you have a copy of the prior year tax return available. Maybe you have it printed out and so you're holding on to it, or maybe you have a digital copy of that so that is open while you're working on these other items. So because she is married, she's going to need all the information for her spouse and her kid, including name, social security number, and date of birth. All of this would get filed on a 1040 form from the IRS. And again, I went through all of these forms and definitions in my last video, so I'm not going to explain that here in this video. Now, for Mrs. needs to file her taxes, traditional 9-to-5 job, she would have already received, as of January 31st, a W-2. So that W-2 is really going to help inform the information that gets put onto her 1040 form. This is going to show her gross salary. It's also going to show a lot of other really helpful and important information, like your federal taxes paid, the state that you work in, and how much you paid to the state as well. And I want to make sure that you are looking at all of this information and double checking it and cross-checking it with your paycheck stubs and anything else that was deducted in your paycheck. So that could include healthcare. And so if you did have healthcare deducted from your paycheck as part of an employer's sponsored program, you're going to want to check box 12 and make sure that is code DD, because if you do not have that checked off, you might actually get like a penalty and a fee for not having healthcare insurance. And we don't want any penalties. We don't want any fees. So we're going to make sure that that is checked. Mrs. needs to file her taxes, also has a side hustle. So this is where she was doing maybe like a side job and earning some income for other individuals. So maybe they sent her a 1099 NEC as a contractor. And since it's a side hustle and she has income, we're going to go ahead and make sure that those are received from her clients. So it would be a 1099 NEC per client if you got paid more than $600 in the year 2020. So you would add all of the 1099 NECs up and make sure that is included as your gross revenue on Schedule C. And while you're doing that, you want to make sure that you're including all of the expenses that went into your side hustle. And this would include things like any kind of little types of materials that go in to make a full product if you are a product seller. So if you've made like Jewelry, you want to make sure that you're including all the little beads and all the little strings and all the little tools that you need as expenses. So that would lower your revenue, which would in turn lower your taxable income from your side hustle. Now, all of that is going to get reported on a Schedule C as you file your Form 1040. Now, I have a lot of high hopes for my fellow side hustlers here who watch my videos, who watch my YouTube videos, and who have all of their information in Quickbooks, because Quickbooks is going to make this part of filing your tax return so super easy, especially if you have been keeping up with doing your bank reconciliations and clearing out your bank feed in Quickbooks. So go back and watch all of my Quickbooks tutorials and Quickbooks videos in order to get started with that, but I hope that you were already done with that as of the end of December, and so you could just grab those numbers and put them onto your Schedule C. So it's going to be things like advertising, accounting, marketing, those types of things. So make sure you include all your expenses that you used for your side hustle onto that Schedule C, because that's really going to lower your taxable income. Next up for Mrs. Needs to file her taxes is the 1098 form, and this is going to be for your mortgage interest portion. So every month you pay your mortgage, and a portion of that is to principal, the note on your loan, and then the other portion of that is to interest. So the portion that you paid towards interest is going to be reported on your Form 1098. So make sure you have that, make sure that matches your records as well. The next form after that is going to be the 1098E for student loan interest. And this is going to be kind of a very similar thing to the mortgage interest piece of it. So last year, if you paid your student loans, let's say you didn't have federal student loans and you had some private loans or whatever kind of loans that you had for your college, then whatever portion that you paid towards interest, there's going to be a portion of that that's going to be deductible on your tax return. So you want to make sure that your 1098E matches your records as far as how much you paid towards interest on your student loan payments. Okay, so according to the CARES Act from 2020, $300 in cash payments towards charitable organizations will be deducted on your tax return if you are not itemizing. So if you are taking the standard deduction, then you want to make sure that you include $300 and that you have receipts to back everything up for your tax return so that you get that deduction on your tax return Form 1040. And last but not least, I want to make sure that Mrs. Needs to file her taxes will keep all of her tax documents in a secure location for 3 years up to 7 years. So there's going to be certain stipulations in between if you can keep it for 3 years or if you can keep it for up to 7 years. So I'm going to leave a link below to an article from the IRS.gov where you can actually read those stipulations for yourself to see where you fit along those lines. But as a rule of thumb for myself, I usually keep things for up to 7 years. All right, now that we have all of our forms ready to go, we've double checked everything, and we are ready to get started on filing our tax return. So in the next video, I'm going to actually walk you through several ways that you can actually file your tax return. So these are going to be safe and secure ways to do it, and I am looking forward to showing you how to do that. That wraps it up for this video. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and please share this video with people who you think would benefit from it. All right, friends, I'll see you in the next video.